Good afternoon, Jamie Breen here. It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. A little late this week with my vlog post. I've been traveling a little, been out of town. Had a bunch of stuff going on yesterday that prevented me from doing my normal vlogging, but it's great to see everyone. Been a pretty good week. We're continuing our recovery from torn hamstring muscle. Getting around a lot better. It's been actually it's been an interesting process thus far. So as I think I mentioned, I did withdraw from the Masters Nationals, which my first race would have been a week from tomorrow, and I think a couple of the races I'd have been able to do, and actually some results sort of bear that out, but couldn't have done everything, and I would have mostly been worrying about it. I think there is a chance to re-injure it on starts, maybe not turn so much, but in any case, having a good time here, and back in the water working out some, so that's good. So yesterday was a day of great celebration at the James Breen Vlog headquarters here. There was a new single that dropped from Nick Lowe, "Went to a Party." Nick in those straight jackets, and that is certainly cause for much celebration in the James Breen Vlog headquarters. I have many musicians that I love and admire, and songs, and have always been a bit of a music guy, but for me, Nick is numero uno, and so a new Nick Lowe single, particularly one as rockin' as "Went to a Party," and I've only listened to it about 30 times over the last 2 days, and I highly recommend you check it out. Nick and Los Straitjackets just rocking it out. I think it's the best. I think it's the best party song I've heard since probably "Love Shack" by the B-52s. It's just totally totally infectious and wonderful, and just sort of all of the best of Nick Lowe, the sort of the pop sensibility, unbelievable playing, musicianship. Los Straitjackets, the guitar on this song is amazing, and then of course the lyrics. Going to a party, indoor safari with a water hole of Campari. Gotta love, man. Nick is just the king. So that was so cool, and so much fun. Anyway, so and you know, in the midst here of our little injury rehab, anything like that, a new song by Nick Lowe or something like that is going to be something that's going to cheer me up and put me in good spirits. So anyway, the other reason, though, the travel that I'm talking about, I was in Key West this past weekend. I decided to go and make an attempt at being on the relay team we had for the swim around Key West, 12.5 mile swim. We had a 4-person team. Myself, my college teammate and buddy John, who lives down there in Key West. We had one of the ladies he trains with, Joanne, and she's quite a good swimmer. And then we this year's ringer, we always try to get a younger person who's a ringer. We had a young man named Cayman who is on the College of the Florida Keys swim team. The College of the Florida Keys is the sponsoring organization for this event, and so I was a little trepidatious actually going into the event. Sort of going back to last week, I swam last Wednesday morning, couldn't do flip turns, could barely really. It was very difficult. Even swimming freestyle was difficult, and I was afraid that it wasn't going to go too well. I had a chiropractic adjustment on Wednesday, and I think that helped a little. And I mean, as my chiropractor says, look, a chiropractic adjustment isn't going to do squat for your muscle, but to the extent that your hamstring is linked to your hips, if you can get your hips to move, and if you can get your hips in better alignment, that probably helps to foster healing. And amazingly, On Thursday, I felt quite a bit better. I didn't swim on Thursday, but I just felt better. Was getting around better. Had stopped taking Advil, keeping keeping the injury wrapped. And then Friday, I did swim Friday morning before we went to the airport, and found I could flip turn, and it improved a bit more. And the swim was Saturday morning, and decided to give it a go. And the format of the swim, again, 4-person relay. The first leg for each of the 4 participants has to be at least 20 minutes long, and then after that, you can do whatever you want. And so we had settled on the idea of 20-minute legs followed by 10-minute legs, and that bore out a little, although not. Actually, I swam quite a bit more than that. So I took the second leg, felt okay. You don't have to dive. Diving would have been hard, but you sort of roll in off the boat and tag the other relay participant, and that's your starts. Took off, and water was warm. So this race is a little earlier in the year than it is sometimes, though. So the water, while it was warm, I think 88 was the warmest it was anywhere in the swim, and it was probably a little cooler than that in a couple spots. So not cool water, but again, in my situation, I was able to get loose very, very quickly, and the hamstring loosened up quite nicely. Not that you're kicking that hard, but I had a nice first leg around just sort of past the just up until where the cruise ship port is, and then come around the corner, and John had the Fleming cut where the tide was just ripping, and he was probably swimming 52-second hundreds with the tide just slamming him through there. So that was I think that's the first time in the 10 years we've been doing it, other than the time we did the whole thing. I think that might have been the first time that John got to do the Fleming cut. I've gotten to do it a couple times, and it's really amazing. And when you're sitting on the boat and you're watching the water move through there, it's really neat. So got into the boat basin, and had we were sort of roughly on 10-minute shifts. I got a little off. I was having trouble sighting in the boat basin as you come around toward Cow Key, and I got a little offline with some miscommunication. It wasn't bad from a swimming perspective, but it was not ideal from a sighting perspective. And then we came around into the Cow Key Channel. We got there, given the timing of the tide, while it was ripping in Fleming, it actually was a little against us when we initially went into Cow Key Channel, and then pretty neutral. Got out of there, and we were pretty well at high tide at that moment. And when you're at high tide in that swim like that, you're not getting a lot of push from the tide as it's headed back out. But what you are getting is more water, and you can cut the corner a little bit when you're at high tide. You can get real close to kind of the seawall inside of some mangroves before you come out by the airport, after you've gone sort of through the Cow Key Channel. And I picked up that portion of the swim, and so I was in what I'm going to consider a neutral tide. I swam for 24 minutes and a little over 2,000 yards, averaged 118 per 100 with no wall to push off on. And so it was a monster swim. I was really, really happy with that. By the time I got in, I think that was the 4th time I got in, and by that time I was just kind of like, fuck it, let's just, my hamstring is going to blow up on this, doing this activity, so let's just let it rip. And for context, splitting 118s with a wall to push off on in the mile, where I was seeded 9th in the nationals, I likely would have been higher than that. So with no wall to swim faster, and there really was no tidal push at that point, and swimming in really warm water. At some level, there's what could have been at nationals, but I still think I made the right decision, and no one's going to be able to take away that Cow Key swim that I had, because it was ripping. It was really, really good. Came around. We had the wind wasn't quite as bad as it was last year. Last year we had wind, 15 knot wind right out of the south, and you're swimming into that wind as you come back around by the airport toward the start finish line at Higgs Beach. And so it's when you come out of that, the sort of channel, you feel like you've kind of finished the race, and the reality is you have 3 miles left, which is certainly not trivial, and you're pretty tired by that point. So we again went kind of into shorter stints, back to the original 10-15 minute kind of idea. And so our 4-person team, we got to Higgs Beach in a little over 5 hours. We won our division, the 4-person mixed relay. So we received our conch trophies. So this was the 6th time I've done a relay swim there, and every time we've conked. So I've got this big shelf of conchs and sort of fantastic trophies. Really good idea. But it was a great day. It was great to compete. It was great to be in there. The hamstring definitely isn't 100%. Now I'd say I'm probably about 70% now, but things are definitely on the upswing. So that was really good. So anyway, looking at the various subjects that I was hoping to cover today. So gotten most of it in. Just bragging a little on the swim and our team, and we just had a fantastic time getting back into it now. The training got in Tuesday. We got home Monday night. Got in Tuesday. Had a kind of, solid but not real fast workout on Tuesday morning. Swam a little faster this morning, and really at this point, trying to make a decision on going into long course maybe a little bit and making a run at long course nationals, or maybe it's time to sort of contact the coach that I've been referred to on preparation for Catalina for next summer. The next competition that I'm currently scheduled is the Big Shoulder Swim, which is a 5K swim in Lake Michigan, and it's the weekend after Labor Day. Really pointing at that again. If I swim like I did and have a little bit more recovery, probably a little bit more kick in me, I might be able to do pretty well in that swim. And then after that is the 5-mile swim in St. Croix. So more open water than pool at this point, but that's okay. And while I'll certainly be disappointed to be missing Masters Nationals and all of the hoo-ha around the Olympic trials, I'll be certainly watching the Olympic trials very closely. It's going to be very exciting. So today's really just a day about swimming. I'm not going to talk about much else while swimming in Nick Lowe, and you definitely have got to get this, go on YouTube or whatever and listen to Went to a Party, the great new Nick Lowe single. It is just fantastic. So have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.